Can you get your hair out of my milkshake?
Pick it up.
I'm driving.
Boy, when does that ever stop?
Who is she talking to, bro? Chill out.
Tim, when does that ever... Tim,
Don't call me
please.
Tim either. Don't call me
No.
Tim.
When does that ever stop you from picking your drink up?
A bombshell lawsuit and a bombshell trial. A woman sued a social media star for having an affair with her ex-husband and destroying their marriage. And while not available in every state, North Carolina actually allows people to sue for this. And wait till you hear what happened at trial, where this online influencer, who represented herself, questioned the woman suing her. This was an intense showdown that all culminated with a major verdict. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. There is an actual specific claim or claims you can sue for. I remember studying this in law school. I hadn't thought about it since then, and it was only now when I hear about the story that I remembered it. A few states recognize it. It's called alienation of affection, and you can also sue for something called criminal conversation, which is a claim here too. It's basically adultery. You can sue when someone has sexual intercourse with your spouse, and we're going to talk about this. This is a real thing. It is a real thing in the state of North Carolina where this is happening. So, back in May of 2024, Akira Montague filed a $3.5 million lawsuit against viral TikTok star Brenay Kennard. She's got over 274,000 followers on Instagram, nearly 3 million on TikTok, talks about her life, get ready with me videos, doing product reviews, makeup lessons, and so forth.
Hey TikTok. So I have a couple things that I got from the TikTok shop that I want to show you guys. First up, this hydrating tint. If you don't want to wear a foundation, this would be great for you. If you've had this before, heard this brand, let me know.
And sometimes she appears with her husband, Tim.
Hi, guys.
What's up, y'all? Hello?
We on here? Hey,
What's up,
guys.
y'all?
It's Brenay.
It's Tim.
And now, Brenay and Tim have found themselves in Akira's legal crosshairs. Akira sued for something called alienation of affection. And basically, it's alleging, you are responsible for my marriage ending. In North Carolina, which is only one of a few states that recognize this, you have to prove there was a real affection, real love between two people in a marriage. There was clear proof that a third party intentionally interfered with that marriage, and that the love, the marriage, the affection, it was destroyed, meaning the love was, quote, alienated. Is that easy to prove? Is it easy to prove in this kind of case? And you know why we're talking about this right now? Because the trial just happened. We actually just got a verdict on how all of this played out. Plus, Brenay represented herself during this trial. And before we even get into the trial, back in September, got to mention this, Brenay was charged with cyberstalking after Akira filed a formal complaint against her, accusing the social media star of harassing her online, showing up places, a filing saying, quote, Kennard constantly mentions my name, as well as posts my name and answers questions pertaining to my personal life and pending cases. And there was also an allegation that Brenay violated a restraining order that Akira took out on her. Now, Brenay was released at the time on a $2,500 bond. But when we talk about bad blood, it should also be noted that just days before Akira filed her lawsuit against Brenay, there was a warrant that was issued for Akira's arrest, that she was purportedly threatening Brenay by allegedly saying, I will kill you, and I will beat your bleep, and I know where you stay. This is according to the warrant. So in that criminal case, by the way, prosecutors allowed for Akira's prosecution to be deferred in exchange for 12 months of unsupervised probation, and she had to complete anger management classes and have no contact with Brenay. Bad, I know. So let me bring on an attorney who specializes in family law and divorces, Randy Kessler. Randy, thank you so much for taking the time. Have you ever handled an alienation of affection case, a criminal conversation case? I mean, is this common? I know it's only in a few states. Have you ever handled anything like this?
I've recently come to learn that a lot of founders and marketers don't quite know how to look up the competitor's marketing strategy.
So in a roundabout way, we certainly have. So it's only in 5 or 6 states. I practice primarily in Georgia where we don't have it, but we do have jury trials in Georgia. And so a lot of times what happens is my clients come in and say, she caused my husband to leave me. I want to bring her in. So we can't sue her in Georgia and in most states, but you can sue the spouse and say, listen, because you did this, and you can bring them in as witnesses, and you can make their life uncomfortable. But the short answer is no. very rarely, no states really have this except 5 or 6. And North Carolina being a close state to us, a lot of our clients say, well, what if I just move to North Carolina? You can't do that after the fact, but it's something we think about and talk about a lot, and we get asked the question all the time.
And my understanding, these are kind of laws that originated back in the day when it was, men still considered women property, essentially. So there's a reason you don't see this across the country. But how difficult are these claims to prove? So if you look at alienation of affection, you have to prove that there was a genuine love, affection, that there was a deliberate interference by a third party. I guess criminal conversation, you just have to prove what? That there was an affair, that there was an actual sexual intercourse going on during the course of the marriage. How difficult is this to prove, and what do you do to prove it? How do you prove it? What kind of evidence is introduced in these kinds of cases?
So there's a whole bunch of evidence, but I'm going to take a break for 1 second. We've evolved from fault divorce. You were talking about at the beginning, these laws go way back to where you had to have a reason to get a divorce. You had to prove somebody was cheating. And now in almost every state, you can get a divorce because I want a divorce. So it makes it hard to reconcile I want a divorce with pointing the finger at somebody else. So that's just to get to your first point. But as far as how hard is it to prove these cases, it's hard. You mentioned two, right? There's the alienation of affections and the criminal conversation. As I understand criminal conversation, it's what we call a strict liability case. Like if you prove that it happened, there's liability, even if the person cheating with the spouse didn't know the spouse was married. So that's an interesting one in and of itself. The other one, the bigger one, the one that they're really traveling under, the alienation of affections, is my husband left me because she made him leave me. And it's hard because most people say your husband left you because he didn't like you, or your husband went with somebody else because the relationship wasn't there. It's very hard to blame somebody else as if your spouse was not a willing participant, right? But that's what they have to do. They have to prove that the other person knew there was a marriage, that the marriage still had some viability. There's still a chance the marriage could last. It doesn't have to be a perfect marriage, but some romance, and that it caused the divorce.
And that is a key factor in this case that I want to get into, because there's a difference of opinion when you hear what came out in trial. So first of all, how did all this come about? Well, Akira alleges in the complaint that Brenay and Tim started making these social media videos, this content together, while he was still married to Akira, like cooking videos, and that Akira didn't know about any of this or didn't sign off on any of this, even going so far as to allege that Brenay would post pictures of Tim and the children he had with Akira, and she claims they were having an affair, that Brenay was flaunting this online, that she herself found out about this alleged affair from a video of the two of them together in January of 2024. But when you go to the trial, okay, there are different versions here of the relationship, the marriage, which becomes very important from a legal point of view. And by the way, a little preview of the trial, we would learn during the trial that Brenay and Tim, they apparently dated in high school, that Brenay's ex-husband testified that he found out the two were trying to get back together in December of 2023, even heard them being intimate in his house in January of 2024. And the complaint also claims that Akira and Brenay at one point were friends, that Brenay allegedly used information that she learned from Akira about Tim, about their marriage, that she used that to seduce Tim. Now, before I get into all of that, okay, Randy, first of all, $3.5 million that she's suing for in compensatory and punitive damages, and again, we'll talk about the trial and everything that happened there, but $3.5 million in compensatory and punitive damages. Your thoughts on that number, and how do you prove that?
Oh, there's a lot there, and you had my mind working. I was listening to everything you were saying, Jesse, and talking about, I started to think, rape is a bad example, but the defense can be consent. Someone consented, and did she know about it? So there are all these defenses that are whirling through my lawyer brain. But the number, you asked me about the number. I don't know how you get to that number. One thing that lawyers always think about is collectability. Does it do a lot of good to bring a lawsuit if you can never collect it? And what's interesting here is this is one of those kind of cases where most clients, most plaintiffs don't really care as much about the number as the principle, right? They want to prove to the world that this lady caused my divorce. I'm not a bad wife. I didn't do anything wrong. It's because this outside person. I think the 3 million or 3.5 million, whatever she's seeking, it's got to be more of that, more of a, I want the world to know it's so bad that it's millions of dollars. So I don't know how else you quantify, 3.5, was my relationship worth 3.5 million? My relationship might have been worth 100 million, or it might have been worth $10. I just don't know.
But it's also pain and suffering, right? What you went through.
Yeah. In a typical pain and suffering case, right? You know this, we have, You know, how much is a lost arm worth? If you break your leg, what's the value of that? What about a damaged kidney? You can find ways to prove how much that shortens your life and the medical bills associated with it. And then you multiply the medical bills by 3 to get a pain and suffering number. I mean, there's just no real numbers game, no math in this.
So now I get it. This whole situation is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Because you have the girl's supposed to be friends. Now the other girl and the guy that's married, her, you know what I mean? Akira's boyfriend or ex-husband or whatever. So like him and the other girl that he's married to, her friend, it's like they knew each other in high school or whatever. You know what I mean? You know, I never seen nothing like this before in my life. You know what I'm saying? I never heard nothing like this before. That well, only in movies, you know what I'm saying? But and I kind of can understand that, you know, Akira, who's the one that let that suing, how she kind of feel because like, hold up, I got backstabbed by my ex-husband and I got backstabbed by a friend. Like, and like the lawyer said that she probably don't even care about the money. You know what I'm saying? Because she probably don't even have that much money. I'm not sure that almost $3 million. You know what I'm saying? So it's basically showing the world, showing that girl followers because the girl she sued has over 3 million followers on TikTok. And so I know she making some money. But then again, I guess she want to prove to the world and to her friends and to that girl followers that listen, this girl is a homewrecker. You know what I'm saying? She's a douchebag. You know what I'm saying? Because she took my not really took my husband, but she ruined my marriage. You know what I'm saying? It's like wow. You know, they got kids, you know what I'm saying? Now she gotta take care of the kids basically on her own, besides the husband helping, you know what I'm saying? So this situation is wild, man. You know what I mean? It's like wow. But like the girl says, like if the husband is what the ex-husband is with that girl that she sued, she really ruin the marriage because he's with her and he ended up marrying her. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of confusing, you know, because the husband is with that girl. It's like, wow, I'm suing you because you broke up my marriage. You broke up my home. You know what I'm saying? You broke up a happy home with my kids, not really seeing their father every day. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, damn, you know what I mean? And and devil's advocate on that is that the husband probably wanted to sleep with both of y'all. You know what I mean? He didn't want you. Now he messing with the other girl. And probably because the big girl, I forgot her name, but the big girl, um, she's on TikTok, you know what I mean? She's an influencer or whatever, you know what I mean? So that guy was doing videos with her more than with his actual wife. You know what I'm saying? So that probably kind of played a part in it too, because 2025, man, everybody want to be on social media and stuff like that. Everybody want to do lives. Everybody want to make money, but everybody want to be on TikTok and be in front of the camera. So he probably liked that as well. So that's probably why he ended up falling in love or whatever, and up marrying the other girl, which is crazy, man. This whole situation is wild. You know what I mean? She did one, so I salute her on that. You know what I mean? And she's a very pretty girl. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I mean, the other girl not ugly either, but it's like this girl here, she's not ugly. You know what I'm saying? The other girl, like I said, not ugly also, but it's like, man, she got like piercings and shit, man, all in her tongue. Situation is wild, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this whole situation, yo, because this is I never really heard nobody suing that she lost her husband. You know what I'm saying? Like I lost my husband, so now I'm going to sue you. I don't know. It's crazy. So the juries and the girl that represented herself. What the fuck? Like you already know you was gonna be found guilty. The juries probably a lot of them probably married. You a homewrecker. You know what I'm saying? In the jury's eyes, I'm not in jury, but I'm basically thinking like you a homewrecker. So what you if I'm thinking that, what you think the jury's gonna think? Come on, man. It's crazy. This situation is wild, man. It's definitely wild.